Hello everyone. In this video I want to create the architecture of our database and start to implement the web IP. I will try to keep the architecture of database and the web IP good, but at the same time simple. In order to not overcomplicate this series, in the future I'll create a dedicated series about direct web IP architecture. So, first of all, to create the scheme of the database of our web chart, I'm going to use alice.io. It's a convenient and easy website to create diagrams of different kinds. Right, so let's start with blank file. Here we are going to select entity relationship. No, it's a feature that we don't actually need. Okay, here, Canva, our add diagram code, entity relations. Here we have our basic design. So, first of all, let's start with delete everything because we don't actually need. We're going to leave user here. So, what we need for user? We need ID. Our ID is going to be as UUID v7. It's a new standard for ID. It's a unique 128-byte identification that combines a timestamp string, gigabyte timestamp, and random part. It will allow us to sort our messages by time, and it's basically a new identifier, so it's better to use this. It's going to be private key, meaning that it's unique for this entity. Okay, next we are going to have displayed name for our user. Displayed name string, Gmail string, and password string. It's going to be encrypted, so we're going to store password as string. Okay, so that's basic things that we need for our user. We're not going to overcomplicate it, so we don't need a lot of fancy things. So then, we need to create an entity for threads. Threads is basically like a history of messages. So let's create threads. Friends icon query queue. We're going to add our ID, private key. Then we're going to create user ID. It's going to be ID of the user who created it. We're going to mark it as foreign key. Next, we're going to create name of the thread, which is going to be displayed. Right? And we also need to create created at time stamp updated at timestamp. Okay. So here we just have user ID, which is going to link to the user who created it, name, which is going to display it in our sidebar when we are going to create our front end. Create add and update at timestamp. So we are going to use these fields just basically to show when the thread was updated and created. It also for our user interface, so nothing very complicated. So the message entity is the hardest here. Is going to have the following field. We are going to create, first of all, we are going to assign like message circle in our diagram, and we are going to give it color, for example, red. Okay. So ID, UID 7, private key, thread ID new UU ID7 F key text string the text of array new role of person. We're going to use enum for the role. We're going to create the enum, so it's not a big deal. And next we're going to create add timestamp. So we're going to basically allow for our chat. So create add going to we're going to sort our message by create add, and then we're going to thread it to our data to our LM as history. So when we're going to request all messages for a specific thread, we're going to sort them by create add, and then we're going to send them to our LM. This way we're going to have a consistent history of our chat. So, and the last entity that we actually need is image attach. Icon image ID UU7D PK string path string type and message ID as our foreign key to know to which message it is assigned. F key. Okay, so here what we have, we just have basically path to our image. So what's going to happen, we are going to store the image sent to us in a folder, and then we are going to basically read the image from the folder, and we are going to send the binary representation of the image to our LM through messages. Okay. Type just going to tell what kind of type the image is, and message ID is going to link to the message to which this image is attached. Okay, now let's do the relationships. So we need many to one for our image attached to message. Many images can be attached to one message. Then we do threads ID many to one as well, because many threads can be attached to one user. And then we are going to have message threads ID many to one as well for our thread, because many messages can be to one thread. That's kinda what we wanted. So this is basically our database. We have only 4 entities here because I don't want to overcomplicate things. It's going to be easy thing. Now we're going to go to our C# and we're actually going to start to create our web IP. We're going to use Postgres. So let's go. Okay, now let's move to our C# file. First of all, you need to install Microsoft Entity Framework Core. This model is going to allow us to work with our database, create it, and manipulate it as we want. Additionally, you need to make a couple of changes in our Python server. First of all, here you should put channel with 2, and I accidentally put 3 ends here, so you should change it to allow it to separate floats from our finance or correctly. And that change here, I forgot to put 64. So if you followed my previous tutorial, you should make these changes as well. Now, let's move to our chat web IP. We're going to create 2 folders, data, in which we're going to keep all our entities and RTB context. And we're going to create another folder, constants. In this folder, we're going to keep all our constants we're going to use across all our web IP. and so on. So here, first of all, we need to create shared folder. How in the shared folder we are going to keep our base classes from which we're going to inherit it when we're going to do our entities. This way we is going to prevent us from overusing the same line again and again. I'm going to create model class here, model. This class is going to contain just one field, and this field is going to be ID. Public greet ID get set and equals new greet ID. Okay. Next, we are going to create different base class, which going to be model with time stamp. Since we have multiple classes, since we have two classes that share the same field, like create add and update add, specifically our message class and our thread class, we're going to create base class model with timestamp, which is going to have these two fields. And then we are going to just inherit from this model. Okay. Okay, now write model here and create two public make time data time created add. Here we are going to add get and set. By the way, we don't really need set here, we just need get because it should not or should change at all. So create add, and here we are going to data time now. Additionally, we're going to create similar field updated at get add. Now let's move to our entities. And here we're going to create classes that we're going to use in our database as entities. Let's start with our user class. We need to inherit from model to add ID to our user. Our user contains the following fields. First, display name, public required, string, right, set name, max length, constants. Yeah. So now that's why we need to create separate static class is going to contain all our constants because it's bad practice to have variables. Just unknown numbers scaled equals your code. So we're going to encapsulate all constants in one file, which in one class is going to name number constants. So this one file going to have public static and going to contain all constants we need. So it's going to public constant int max length displayed name. For our user, let's say it's going to be 64. Okay, so after that we're going to go to our user, and here we're going to say that max length of the string can be is equal to max length displayed name. Okay, after that we need to add Gmail, public required string Gmail to our user. get set, right? And here we are going to enter mail address as well. And the last field that our user should contain is its password. String password cache. Password cache. That's set. Okay. Now, after that, we're going to create our thread class. Thread class. Our thread class going to contain, or we're going to inherit first of all from model with timestamp to ensure that we have create add fields and update and update add. Okay. Then here it should have name, if I remember it correctly. Yes, talk public required string name. Here we're also going to create a specific constant to mark the name, red name, here, red name, length, bracket 28 we are going to create. So the max length of our thread name is 128. Number constant. Max can display it thread name. Okay. That's pretty much all for now here. Now, next we create message. Message class is like the most complicated class for now. It's going to contain the following fields. So it must contain field text for now. Public, string, and role. String, text, required, get set, max length, and we need to add another constant to ensure that our message text is not very long. But it can be pretty long, so we're going to say like, let's do 2048. It's going to be fine for now. Text constant, a number constant. Marks and text. Okay. And the last entity that I want to do is, oh no, and I forgot to inherit it also from model with timestamp. So the last entity which we're going to do today is image attach. I also forgot to add public require roles. We're going to use roles from our gRPC file. So we just say role here. Now. And we import roles from our chat namespace. Okay, the last class for today is image attached. Touch. Touch. Yes. Now. And here is going to contain, first of all, inherit from model to ensure that it has unique ID. Here is going to contain the two fields, string path, set get. Next, we are going to, and it's going to contain also type of the image. Additionally, we need to create another two. Yeah, you need to create two constants to to limit the length of our path and the length of our image type. So the max length of path in Windows is 255 if you're not going to extend it, so we're going to go with this one. And the max length of type, image type, let's make it like 32. It should be enough for us. And here we are going to number constants, max length path, and number constants max length image type. Okay. So now let's add relationships. So we need to create fields that will allow us to access class entities to which the entity belongs. So here we need to write required message type, and we set message here, set type as. Okay. Next, in our messages, we need to create public required virtual required collection mesh image attached to is going to allow us to access all of the images that are attached to the specific message. Okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. Public virtual rows. No, we don't need rows. We need the thread to which it belongs. Thread get set. Okay. In the thread, we create collection of all image and for message that the thread contains. Collection messages new what I said, we don't need that actual client here because we're going to new this message here. We don't need requires if we assign the default value here. Virtual message, yeah. Okay, thread, and also we need to add user to which it belongs. Virtual required user set get set. And our actual user going to contain virtual collection of threads that the user created. Okay. Okay. For now, we created all our entities we wanted to, and with constants. So now we are going to move to our DB context. We're going to name it app DB context. Basically, what it's going to allow us to do is going to allow us to interact with our database. This kind of everything that we're going to use this class for. So let's start. We need to define DB sets of each entity that we use. So message entity, messages. But no, it's better to start with user. Yeah, and we're going to, yeah. So let's start with users. DB set users threads. And now, yeah, it again uses different threads. It should. So we are going to just specify what thread we're going to use. Thread we are going to use lm test data entities thread. We're going to use our thread by default. Because it's trying to put thread from, I assume, from the multi-thread library, so we don't need it for now. We need to use our threads we created, so we're going to specify that when we say thread, we use our thread. And last thing is image attached. Image attached. Okay. Now, public constant RDB context. We need to create constructor. Okay, so it accepts OnModelCreating context options. RDB context options of base option options and key and show creator. RDB context options. Wait, no options. Database. Sorry. And show created. So it's going to create the database each time we're going to run our program. In future, we're going to switch to migrations, but for now, it's going to be fine like that. Okay. Now move to protection, override, void on model created. So now let's specify all our relationships that we want to have between each entity. Okay. So models, builder. First of all, let's do not relationship. Let's make sure that our Gmail is unique and not to create index. So we're going to create index on the Gmail. Password has Gmail. And we're also going to say it's unique. So, but the index is the thing that going to allow us to search by it faster. And we also make the email unique here to prevent two users having the same email. Okay. And now let's do the relationship. So we go create thread. We say it has one key. Each thread has one user, and its user has many. Its user has many threads. On delete behavior, cascade delete. Cascade. So, well, basically, I said that each thread has one user and each user has many threads. And if we delete the user, we also delete all threads to which the user which belong to the user. Next, we will go and specify messages as one. New threads with many. So each thread has many messages. And on the behavior cascade as well. And then we go to do the image attach. Has one. Basically, let's do the same. You has many messages. It has one message and its message has many image can have many image attached. So image attached, and we are going to have the same grid behavior. So here we specified all relationships, like I said, many to one to many, for user to threads, for thread to messages, and from message to image attached. That is, yeah, so pretty much is everything that I wanted to do in this video. In next video, we're going to probably finish our API, and next we are going to move to our web part, to our website and our front end. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, and see you next one.